Hello and welcome to the Silent Personalities. An empire so rich, its king became the symbol of wealth itself. People traveled across the ancient world just to witness the treasures of Lydia. Gold filled its rivers, its markets controlled international trade, its capital overflowed with riches beyond imagination, and ruling over it all was the richest man alive. Croesus, a king so wealthy, history never forgot his name. But in ancient history, wealth often attracts something far more dangerous than envy. It attracts conquerors. Because while Lydia celebrated gold and luxury, a terrifying power was rising in the east. An empire built not on wealth, but on war. Persia, led by a ruler so brilliant, so ruthless, and so ambitious, that he would soon reshape the ancient world forever. Cyrus the Great. What happened next was not simply the fall of a kingdom. It became one of the most important turning points in human civilization, because this war did something almost nobody expected. It helped change the future of money itself. The world's first true currency system spread across empires. Global trade transformed forever, and one of history's greatest superpowers began its rise. This is the story of the war that changed wealth, changed empires, and changed civilization itself. The fall of Lydia. The rise of Persia, and the moment money changed the world forever. An empire so wealthy, people believed its gold would last forever. Its kings controlled trade routes across the ancient world. Its merchants carried riches from Asia to Greece. Its capital overflowed with treasure so vast that other nations could barely imagine it. And at the center of that wealth stood one man, a king whose fortune became legendary across history itself. Croesus of Lydia, the ruler so rich, his name would become a symbol for wealth for thousands of years. But wealth can create a dangerous illusion, because the more powerful Lydia became, the more its rulers believed gold alone could control destiny. And far to the east, another empire was rising, not built on luxury. Not built on gold, but built on conquest. Persia, led by a warrior king whose ambition terrified the ancient world, a man named Cyrus the Great. What happened next was not simply another war between kingdoms. It became one of the most important turning points in human civilization, because this conflict did not only destroy an empire. It changed money forever. It helped create the world's first true currency system. It transformed global trade. It reshaped the balance of power across the ancient world, and it marked the beginning of one of history's greatest empires. Because in the 6th century BCE, the fall of Lydia became the rise of Persia, and the consequences would echo across human history for thousands of years. Before Persia dominated the ancient world, before Cyrus became legendary, before empires stretched from Egypt to India, there was Lydia, located in western Anatolia near the Greek world. Lydia controlled some of the richest lands on earth. Its rivers carried gold, especially the Pactolus River, whose sands were believed to contain enormous amounts of precious metal. That gold transformed Lydia into one of the wealthiest civilizations of the ancient age. Its capital city, Sardis, became a center of trade, luxury, and international commerce. Merchants from different civilizations traveled through Lydia carrying spices, textiles, weapons, wine, silver, and precious goods from across the known world. But Lydia's greatest achievement was not simply wealth. It was innovation, because before Lydia, most trade across the ancient world depended on barter systems. People exchanged goods directly. Silver and gold existed, but measuring value was slow, inconsistent, and unreliable. Every transaction required weighing metal, testing purity, negotiating value. Trade was complicated. Then Lydia changed everything. The Lydians began producing standardized metal, coins, small stamped pieces of precious metal with guaranteed value. For the first time in history, people could exchange money quickly, with trust and consistency. This was revolutionary. It accelerated trade, strengthened markets, expanded international commerce. And helped lay the foundation for future economic systems across civilization itself. The world's first true currency had arrived, and the man ruling this wealthy kingdom was Croesus, a king remembered not only for power, but for unimaginable riches. Greek historians described his wealth with fascination: gold-covered palaces, lavish temples, massive treasures, luxury beyond anything most people had ever seen. Croesus became famous throughout the Mediterranean world. Even Greek city-states respected Lydia's power, Some feared it, others admired it. But while Lydia grew rich in the west, a storm was rising in the east. For generations, the ancient Near East had been dominated by powerful empires. The Assyrians had once ruled through fear and military terror. Then came the Medes. But history was changing again, because among the Persians, a new leader had emerged. Cyrus. At first, Persia was not viewed as unstoppable. It was considered smaller. Less wealthy, less prestigious than older kingdoms. But Cyrus possessed something far more dangerous than gold. Vision. Discipline. And military genius. He united Persian tribes, defeated rivals, expanded rapidly. Then he shocked the ancient world by overthrowing the Median Empire itself. Suddenly Persia was no longer a regional kingdom. It was becoming a superpower. And Croesus noticed the rise of Persia terrified neighboring rulers because nobody knew how far Cyrus intended to go. Some believed Persia would eventually consume everything in its path. Croesus faced a choice: wait for Persia to grow stronger, or strike first. According to ancient accounts, Croesus sought advice from oracles before going to war. One prophecy became famous across history: if Croesus crosses the river, he will destroy a great empire. Croesus believed the prophecy referred to Persia. He thought victory was destiny, but history often hides its cruelest irony inside. Confidence, because the empire destined to fall was his own, Croesus formed alliances with powerful states including Egypt and Babylon. He believed a coalition could stop Persian expansion before it became unstoppable. Then Lydia marched east. The war had begun. At first, the conflict appeared evenly matched. Croesus commanded experienced forces. Lydia possessed wealth, cavalry, and military prestige, but Cyrus moved with terrifying speed. The Persian king understood something many rulers failed to recognize: momentum wins wars. The two armies eventually clashed near the city of Tyre. The battle was brutal. Neither side achieved decisive victory, but Croesus believed winter would pause the campaign. He withdrew part of his forces and returned toward Sardis, expecting the war to resume later. It was a catastrophic mistake because Cyrus refused to stop. Instead of waiting, the Persian king launched a rapid pursuit deep into Lydian territory. The speed shocked Croesus. Before Lydia could fully reorganize, Persia arrived near Sardis itself. Now the fate of Lydia would be decided. The final battle approached. Croesus relied heavily on Lydian cavalry, one of the most respected mounted forces in the region, but Cyrus used an unusual strategy. According to historical tradition, the Persians placed camels at the front of their lines. Lydian horses reportedly panicked from the unfamiliar smell and appearance. The cavalry lost effectiveness, chaos spread, and once momentum shifted, Persia struck with devastating force. The Lydian army collapsed. Sardis soon fell. The richest kingdom in Anatolia had been destroyed. Croesus, the legendary king of gold, lost everything. And with the fall of Lydia, Persia absorbed one of the wealthiest economies in the ancient world. But Cyrus did not simply conquer territory. He inherited something even more valuable: the Lydian monetary system. The Persians recognized the power of standardized currency. Instead of destroying the system, they expanded it across a massive empire stretching across continents. Trade accelerated further. Taxes became easier to organize. Economic control strengthened imperial authority. The idea born in Lydia spread across the ancient world. Greek civilizations adopted coinage. Later, empires refined it. Future economies evolved from the same revolutionary concept. The foundations of modern money had begun. And Persia continued rising. Under Cyrus and later Persian rulers, the empire expanded into one of the greatest superpowers in human history. It conquered Babylon. Extended into Central Asia. Threatened Greece, controlled enormous trade networks connecting multiple civilizations. All while building upon systems inherited from conquered kingdoms like Lydia. But perhaps the greatest irony of all is that the kingdom remembered for creating wealth could not save itself from conquest. Because gold can build empires, but discipline, leadership, and strategy often decide who survives history. Croesus believed wealth made Lydia untouchable. Cyrus proved otherwise. And in the ashes of Lydia, a new world began to rise. The rise of Persia, the spread of currency. And the transformation of global civilization itself, because this was never just the story of a war. It was the story of how money changed history forever, and how one empire's fall helped create the economic foundations of the modern world. If you enjoyed this story of ancient empires, forgotten wars, and the rise of civilization, subscribe to the Silent Personalities for more historical documentaries that bring the ancient world back to life.